who doesn't love Voltron? If you grew up in the 1980s, Voltron was the it toy. I mean, I know this channel is called Beyond Transformers, but show me a vintage Transformers fan who doesn't love this guy. He's incredible, isn't he? And he was such a big deal in the 80s. It wasn't just the quality of the toy itself, which that's hefty die-cast. It's satisfying transformation that was so tactile and it felt good. It was not just the size, it was enormous. It was also a really flipping cool cartoon and a national sensation. American kids could not get enough of this thing. I don't talk about Voltron enough on this channel because whereas with Transformers, you had an entire toy line. And in 1985, you got even more toys. And in 86, even more, and on and on. There were so many Transformers. We're used to looking for more. And so telling you about the toys that came before Transformers and after Transformers and overseas as Transformers is sort of a logical thing to do. With Voltron, we're used to the idea that there aren't more. If you grew up with Voltron in the United States, there were 3 Voltrons, and they weren't anything like each other either. You had Voltron 1 was the vehicle Voltron, which actually kind of was my favorite, but not most people's favorites. You had Voltron 2, which was nobody's favorite, and Voltron 3, which was most people's favorite. It was the default, and honestly, it's probably the most impressive of the toys, aesthetically and in terms of high-quality die-cast metal. It's just a great toy. Can't lie about that. But here's the thing. In the United States, we thought that was it. If you lived anywhere else in the world, you knew that wasn't the case because these toys weren't Voltron. They were Dairugger XV, they were Albegas, and they were Beast King Golion. And each one was part of a long tradition of super robots that we missed here in the United States. So a year ago, I did an episode on Daltanious, who was the most direct influence to Voltron, a toy that in so many ways was strikingly similar in design and engineering, even in incorporating robotic animals, in fact, a robotic lion, into a giant merged robot, which had never been done before. But today I want to go a little bit further. It's been a year, and I want to talk about the next toy in that tradition because, honestly, if you loved Voltron as a kid and you yearned for more of it, the frustrating part was, if you went and bought the other 2 Voltrons, they had nothing to do with this guy. I love Voltron 1, but that is a big hunk of plastic that feels nothing like this and looks nothing like this other than the face. In Voltron 2, Albegas, I don't know what they were thinking when they decided that toy in any way fit in with these other 2. Daltanious was, of course, originally slated to be one of the 3 Voltron robots, and due to a miscommunication internally, got cut at the last second. But the toy I want to show you today is lesser known even to well-read Voltron fans. But if you are a fan from overseas, you might know this one well. Because while in 1979 we had Daltanious, in 1981 we had Beast King Golion. The toy in between, the missing link between those 2 toys, a toy far more similar to Voltron 3 than Daltanious ever was, is Godsigma. A beautiful heavy die-cast toy from Japan that a lot of people in the United States have never seen before. In fact, if you get these 2 together, I mean, the similarities speak for themselves, don't they? These 2 robots belong together. They make sense together. They are similarly beautiful in very similar, extraordinary ways. If you have one, you kind of need to own them both. So if you grew up with Voltron and have spent years dreaming about having more toys like Voltron, well, I hope you've grabbed a Daltanious. It's been a year since I told you about it. But now let's take a look at Godsigma, a toy which is far more similar to Voltron in so many respects. Let's be clear, Daltanious, Godsigma, and Beast King Golion were all made by the same companies, Toei Animation and Popey/Bandai as the toy manufacturer. So you had the same cartoon designers, you had the same toy designers working together and evolving their craft over time. Beast King Golion is the best of the 3, but Godsigma's awfully close. And since a big part of what we loved about Voltron in the United States was the cartoon, it seems fair game to discuss the cartoon as well. Let me tell you guys, Godsigma is a great cartoon. First of all, the first 2 episodes are streaming on YouTube for free, and the rest I'm sure can be found at a lot of streaming services that focus on classic anime. But essentially, there's a lot of design similarities between Godsigma and Beast King Golion / Voltron. In many ways, it feels like a similar show existing in the exact same universe. Additionally, if you're a fan of Dairugger XV / Voltron 1, there's similarities there as well. For example, each robot has a different patrol. So in the same way that Voltron 1 / Dairugger XV had a land team, the yellow robot patrols the land. The blue robot patrols the sea, and the leader patrols the air, much like the leader of Voltron 1 / Dairugger XV patrolled the air team as well. Similarities there abound too. It's a great show, but the show is only one part of the fun. The true fun comes down to the toy. So let's head over to the work table and take a look at just how awesome Godsigma truly is. So here is Godsigma, and whereas Voltron 3 / Beast King Golion's conceit is that it's 5 lions that form into one larger robot, this is a bit unique in that it's 3 smaller robots and a jet that form into one larger robot. It's enough of a winning combination. It's been repeated many times since it was done here. I believe this is the first time it was ever done. If it wasn't, hit me up in the comments and tell me what I'm missing. But as far as I know, it's the first time a bunch of smaller robots form into a larger robot, and it does so really beautifully. Each one of these robots is quite a looker. Aesthetically, they're very attractive bots to look at. High quality, got heavy die casts of the legs right here. These parts are all plastic. Good looking toy. The heads do not turn. Kind of wish they did. Obviously, there's no knee joints to speak of, but at least it's got elbows. And it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful display piece in this mode. I would actually argue, I think the individual smaller robots might look cooler than the bigger combined thing. Here's our lead guy. It's a badass look. One unusual thing about this toy, to the best of my knowledge, is the head doesn't change in any way when he becomes a larger robot. It's the same face. He's just kind of roided up with the help of 2 other robots. He's got die cast in his chest. These pieces are just chrome plastic. Chrome plastic. But this is heavy die cast right here. Good looking toy. One word of caution I think you should be aware of is a lot of toys from this era suffered from a sort of blue plastic fatigue. Collectors these days talk about gold plastic fatigue all the time. I've noticed far more issues with blue plastic fatigue. The Albegas team, which was Voltron 2, it's very hard to find the blue robot these days. Oh my gosh, Albegas, that was 3 robots forming into one as well. This clearly did it better. But the blue robot's very hard to find these days. The blue plastic, for some reason, over time breaks down, and it's very hard to find one that doesn't break. This guy has broken on me 3 different times now, while I've transformed him very carefully. In fact, if you look carefully, you're going to see some glue that's still drying around his foot area. See that? He broke on me again today while I was transforming this again. I've been able to fix him each time. Obviously, if I ever sell this toy, which I probably won't, I would put a huge warning to the collector buying it about that. But you be careful if you do decide to buy this toy. I do worry about that. Even transforming him extremely gently, he will break. Of course, actually, come to think of it, this one's arm snapped off recently itself. I've been able to make it stick back on again, but over time, this was a heavy-duty toy, but you've got some, lightweight hollow plastic and some heavy die cast. That's a lot of strain to put on this plastic over time, and some of these transformations are really hard on the parts. So just be cautious when you buy. Watch out for breakage. If you do get one, be super careful and loving when you transform it. Assume that if you're going to play with this toy, you're probably never going to get to resell it, and keep some crazy glue handy, because you'll probably need it. Anyway, back to the individual vehicles and robots. We do have one air vehicle as well. It's a bit derpy, but I also salute what it's doing. Instead of having individual parts that help in combine mode that just disappear when it's a vehicle, this actually is all the leftover pieces thrown together into one weird-looking airplane. The sword is still separate, but, in the style of this era, the robot just sort of energy summons it when he's combined. So other than the sword, all the accessories are very cleverly hidden in this robot. Actually, the fists are hidden somewhere else entirely. I'll show you in a moment. It's actually part of the charm of this toy is how it does it. But let's get into the transformation, and I'll show you the charm of this robot. And what's so great about it, and also why it's so easy to break, I still think it's worth the purchase, guys. I love this toy so much, but I'd be amiss if I didn't warn you about the breakage risks. So let's start our transformation. We're going to begin with these guys right here. They're going to form the feet. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, in terms of mode transformation, what they become is nothing too impressive looking. They're recently going to become big stumps that serve as feet. But the transformation itself is pretty fun. So I'm going to walk you through that right now. We are first going to... he's got these little doors right here. And we're going to open that up. And then there are a bunch of releases. This toy is very, very mechanical. We're going to press this release right here. And this arm is going to bend down and fit right in there. We'll close that door right up. Do the same thing on the other side. Press the release, push down, bam, it disappears. It's pretty clever. I like the buttons. The buttons are fun for me. This one, it has releases back here, little spring-loaded ones. We're going to press those and push in, and push again in. And we've got that so far. Last up, we're going to open up his chest, and there are these little panels here. I don't have great fingernails, but they're going to slide out there. Close it up. There's a panel in the back as well. We're going to lift that up, and he is ready to become a foot. It's not a brilliant transformation. It's just a robot kind of thrown into a box, but it was a fun transformation. So it's not a total transformation, but it is an intuitive and satisfying tactile transformation all the same. I'm going to be careful with this guy because he's the one who breaks on me constantly, and hopefully you're not going to witness any of that right now. But we are going to do the exact same thing here. You'll notice even the door has snapped and I've glued it back together. Can you see that? Little panel there has a break on it I've sealed with crazy glue. This thing just breaks everywhere. It's the exact same toy, but the yellow one doesn't break except for its arm joint. This one breaks constantly. It's that blue plastic. Be careful with it. Press the springs in the back. Push. Hey, no break this time. Push. Great. Open this up. Get that back there. And we have 2 legs. It's a start. So we've got our big guy here, and once again, his face is not going to change. His chest is barely going to change. We're just going to kind of roid him up and make him bulkier. So Daltanious did a similar thing with its central robot. We're going to, we have a bunch of releases back here as well. We're going to press this one here. When I do that, this is going to release. And essentially his shoulders just got bigger. Here's what it looks like from the other side. Very clever. He's already looking more jacked. We'll do the same thing with the legs in a way. We have this button here we're going to press. And that's going to happen. One more time. That's what it's doing. What it looks like from the other side is this. Whoops. Careful with those releases. And we have a much more roided up midsection. In the feet, this is a really clever part. Hidden in the feet. Ooh, I don't know if you can see. Yep. There are fists. We're going to pull out. They're literally locked in there. We just pull the fists out for his larger mode. So they didn't come from out of nowhere. They were stored in as part of the robot. That's pretty clever stuff. So we are going to put on these fists. And then his big feet are going to bend backwards. And that's where the tops of these guys are going to go. So we'll line it up, and you can almost hear the theme music playing while you do this in your head. It's very exciting. It's very Voltron. It snaps. Woo, look at that. How beautiful is that? Seriously, that's gorgeous right there. I'll zoom in a little bit. That is... It's bulky, it's older, it's a little more awkward than Voltron, but it is a thing of beauty. You kind of have to admit it. Then we're going to have the leftover pieces right here. And this is a piece of cleverness right here. The top part, we push this button underneath. There's a little blue thing. Push that. This is his shield. Pops right out of there. And that's going to go here. And then this part, in a very big dramatic moment that feels very Voltron 1/Armored Fleet Dairugger to me, we're going to do this. And then this thing is going to dramatically descend on him and become the finishing part that really makes him look like the full Godsigma robot. He'll then summon his energy sword. Look at that gorgeousness. Look at this thing. For comparison's sake, let's bring in Golion. And you can see just how similar these two beautiful robots are. Obviously, Golion is slightly taller, but the vibe is unmistakably similar between them. Similar amounts of die cast, similar use of chrome plastic, similar attention to beautiful detail. Both extraordinary in their own ways. You know, I think one thing people miss, at least in the United States, when you look at a toy like this, these amazing super robots, what a beautiful tradition they come from, is the fact that there was only one toy released per series. Just one. So whereas Transformers had to release entire waves of toys, you know, where obviously they spent more time on some than others, but there were tons of toys to pump out at one time, these toy designers gave all of their love to making one toy as perfect as they knew how to make it. And man, did they succeed. And that is the beauty and near perfection of Godsigma. A gorgeous, gorgeous predecessor to Voltron, a spiritual brother to him that is absolutely worthy of your time and attention. Originally sold in Japan, ported to the United States as part of the famous Godsigma line that I've mentioned multiple times in the show. There's a lot of copies of him out there in the United States and overseas. There are some really high-quality knockoffs of him available as well. He's going to set you back a bit, but I really do think he's worth it. My one recommendation is be really careful about the blue one. Be really careful about Breakage. Be so gentle with him, and expect that when you play with your toys, sometimes occasionally they're going to break and some crazy glue is going to be needed. I've had no problem repairing him again and again. He's been good to play with every single time. I've had, I think, 3-4 breaks on him at this point. But if you are a collector and a perfectionist, you're going to have to get past that to enjoy a toy this beautiful and this amazing. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. It helps us tremendously. Hype us up if you're feeling it. We love that. Share out there. Put this out in Discord. Put this out in social media. Let people know you're enjoying this channel and they should see it too. Help us grow. Check out our other playlists and channels as well. We do have classic chiller films. We've got Spinner Rack Redux. We've got the CCF In Depth podcast as well for you. And over 60 episodes of Beyond Transformers if you're not sick of hearing me talk yet. Most importantly, if you're looking for good conversation, not just YouTube comments that I might respond to once and the conversation kind of dies there, check us out at classiccomics.org, a website designed for back and forth conversation where people listen to each other, respond to each other, hear each other out, and get to know each other as people. It's a lot more than Facebook. It's a lot more like being part of a family. I'm there every single day. It is my home online, and I'd love for you to be a part of it too. Check us out at classiccomics.org. We're not trying to sell you something. It doesn't cost anything. It's totally free. We just want your company. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll see you next time. Stay weird.